Welcome to the Movies of the Damn podcast. My name is Kyle Grant, and I'm sitting here with my friend and published horror author, John Hunt. If you enjoy what you hear here today, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, check out our Facebook page, and follow us on both Instagram and Twitter at Damn Movies. Email us any questions, comments, and suggestions to moviesofthedamned@gmail.com. For further details on John's published works, please visit his blog, johnhuntfiction.wordpress.com. Today, we'll be discussing Jennifer Kent's 2014 film, The Babadook. The movie focuses on widowed mother Amelia as she struggles to raise her strange son Samuel as she grieves her deceased husband. Sam becomes convinced that the Babadook is out to get him, and Amelia experiences many sleepless nights as she tries to comfort him. Strange occurrences begin happening around the house, and Amelia's mental health begins deteriorating as she becomes more isolated. Amelia eventually has to battle the Babadook and forces it to retreat to the basement by confronting it. The movie ends as Amelia is seen feeding the Babadook worms in the basement. John, opening thoughts on the movie?
Yeah, so this is another Ethan recommendation special. I had seen this movie before.
I'd seen it before too, but he loves this one.
He thought we should talk about it.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, and I find it very powerful. I thought it was very scary. I thought there was a lot of good moments in this film. I won't have a lot of negative stuff to say about it, or I don't even want to call it negative. It's just more things that might have made me raise an eyebrow. That's about it. But other than that, like, the kid's acting was awesome. Her acting was awesome. There's a lot of things well done in this.
And so this was a good movie. This was a scary movie. But there were a bunch of things that I had issues with that we can kind of get into as we move throughout the movie.
Yeah, they'll probably be the same as mine, but let's go.
I don't even want to say this first one because I feel like a bad person even bringing it up.
Okay.
I did not like the kid. He
No.
just really annoyed me.
Yeah.
I found him to be just like this whiny little brat.
Yes. So I agree with that, and I think that was intended.
Okay.
Right, so it's one of those things where it's like you want to show a mother being at her wit's end, being lonely and at her wit's end.
And they did a good job. She's fantastic actress, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And so was this. Like, look how young this kid was. He did a great job.
Okay.
He did a great job. He was annoying, and that was his intent to be annoying. He was supposed to be annoying.
I guess if he's like not annoying in real life and that was just pure acting, bravo. I just feel that like that was him and I just didn't like him.
You do know someone wrote the script and had him read lines, right?
I get that, but I guess it's just the way he delivered the whines. He just seemed like this whiny little baby. It's just
so
like, oh my gosh.
I agree with you to a certain extent. So at the very beginning, I was annoyed with him as well. Like, he was very high maintenance. He didn't seem to get when his mom was trying to correct him, or that his mom was trying to help him, and you know, be supportive as best she could with some of his, I guess, eccentricities. So, but then later on, when, you know, mother starts to turn and be a little straight, I was afraid for this kid, and he became less annoying to me because he was trying to help his mom.
Yeah, he stopped being such a little brat because he realized he like all hands on deck here. Mom's going nuts,
and I'm being fed tranquilizers, and you know, I might not wake up again. That type of thing. So, I thought I liked the acting that he did, and I liked the acting of the mom.
So maybe I was just like a little turned off the movie from the start, just because I just disliked his character so much.
Oh my god.
And that's tough to say, and I feel bad saying it, but I gotta be truthful.
No, it's true. It's funny. I didn't like the kid either, but it didn't turn me off the movie. I thought it was a device that was used to draw you closer and have more empathy to the mom.
I just thought he was just like this crabby little runt. Just like I just wanted nothing to do with him having any screen time, but he had a lot of it, obviously.
Oh, of course.
Okay, so that's my first issue.
Okay, go.
Second issue is they find a random book that just appears
On his bookshelf.
bookshelf,
Yeah,
and then
that's
mom's like, without even looking at it first, I'll just read it to my 6-year-old. And it's titled The Babadook.
Mhm.
And so to us in North America, we're like, what's a Babadook? We have no idea.
Yeah.
But in this culture, the Babadook is the boogeyman. Are
Okay.
you really going to read a book called The Boogeyman to your child, a book that just appears on your bookshelf?
Okay, so that's one of the issues that I had. But I had issues prior to that. Because Samuel was making weapons and designing things to protect his mom and her.
And this 6-year-old is able to design this slingshot weapon thing?
Well, I don't have a problem with that. Some kids are precocious and they figure that crap out. I don't have an issue with that. What
Okay,
I do
sorry.
have an issue with is him. Why is he designing them? Why is he thinking he has to protect his mom when they haven't even stumbled upon this book yet?
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason for this. So he doesn't have to protect anyone, him or his mom, or be afraid of anything because they're not even aware of this
But
book.
he always kind of had the problem of like being afraid of monsters. Because remember, even before the Babadook reading thing, he like woke up and there's monsters, and she had to like check under the bed for him and stuff.
No,
like
I know that. I understand that. So now, like, why though?
Because he's just like a typical kid who's afraid of monsters.
Well, I think for the film, it might have been better for that fear to grow after the Babadook. Like maybe mom says no, this book, no, looks at the few pages, no, I'm not reading this, puts it on a shelf, and then you see him later secretly looking at the
because that's what a
pages.
reasonable parent would do, right? She's like, I've never seen this book
Well, she doesn't
before.
finish the whole book. She doesn't finish the whole book, right? She didn't read the whole thing to him. She read it on her own. And was like, wait, this is not.
But she read the majority to him.
Well, not. So she got to like the duk part, but she didn't talk about because after that she was like reading the words and not saying them.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
then you hear the little boy being like, "Does he hurt the boy?"
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something
yeah.
like that?
So she doesn't read that part. So she is trying to protect him. Like she didn't know what the book is. My only issue is like, so one, he was afraid of monsters before he even knew of the Babadook.
Yeah.
Two, the Babadook shows up, or the Babadook book shows up, and now he's more afraid of the monsters, and now he's more like. But I think that should have been a device to use to say, okay, now he feels he needs to protect his mom because this thing that his mom doesn't believe in is actually real.
Yeah.
Right. For me, that bothered me. I think the sequence was off a little bit. That's all.
No, and I liked what you said before, how it would have been better if she had picked it up, flipped through a couple pages, been like, no, and then you see the boy reading it himself later, or looking at it himself or something like that.
So my second issue with that is like usually with something like this, like where did this Babadook come from? Why did it pick them?
They don't really talk about that
That's
at
what
all.
I mean. So like usually in other movies you'll see like they trigger it, right? Or they move into that house. Right, so like with The Conjuring, they moved into a house possessed, right?
Yeah.
And countless other movies with spooks or spirits or whatever. You have to do something to initiate that person or that thing coming after you, right?
What does she do here? She's just sad because her husband died?
Yeah, so like there's
so
nothing.
maybe she's just vulnerable and the Babadook attacks vulnerable people?
I don't even know. They don't even address it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like there's usually a trigger, right? So like Butterfly Kisses, right? There was a trigger. Now the supernatural thing is coming after him. It's going to kill him. There's a reason why, right? This is just like they've been in that house for years. So
I had the impression that they were always in this house.
that's what I mean.
Like even before her husband died.
They had that friend, the neighbor. Like they've been there for years.
Yeah.
So that there's no reason for it to start then. That was I had an issue with that. Right? Like why pick them? Why is this Babadook there? Why did this show up on the bookshelf? What did anyone do to bring this on themselves? If anyone out there listening knows, please tell us, because I didn't see this in the film.
Yeah, and it's not to say that like people in other movies like deserve it or something like that,
No.
but you gave the perfect example of The Conjuring. They move into a new house, right? And so like what did they do to initiate
there's usually
this?
a trigger.
Yeah,
right?
there's no trigger.
Yes.
And if there was, both of us missed it.
Yes. So that's what kind of brings one of the support systems down for the storyline for me anyways, right? Because otherwise, without the trigger, then there's no reason why it happened. And if there's no reason why it happened, then we might as well watch a film about lightning. Because we don't know. You have no reason what brought it on. You have
No,
you know what I mean?
I get what you're saying, but then I guess if you can get past that and that doesn't bug you about there being no trigger, the movie is enjoyable because, as you said, it is scary. Like, it's
absolutely,
interesting.
absolutely. I am past that. I really like this film.
And
I would give it a favorable review. I would tell other people to watch it.
And it's well written.
Yeah.
And again, I've mentioned this in past podcasts, but like sometimes these writers really hit child dialogue like out of the park.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't know if you remember the one scene, well, you probably do, when Samuel is kind of like hiding up in the treehouse.
Yeah, and
at the birthday party.
Yeah, and his cousin
comes up and says to him, "You're not even good enough to have a dad. Your dad died so he didn't have to be with you."
I know.
And I'm like, oh my god, like kids are such jerks.
They
right?
can be, for sure, for sure.
And it's just like,
Yeah.
like kids say that type of stuff
I
to each
know,
other, right?
for
And
sure.
it's just like, oh my gosh, that's
know.
gruesome, right?
That was, it's brutal is what it was, right? So, so absolutely, this film was well written, it's well shot. The house was interesting to me. Like when I first see the interior of the house, it had the black shiny painted banisters and the gray walls. I thought I was watching like a Tim Burton film, like Beetlejuice or
it
something.
was very like gothic, very dark, right?
Right. So I thought, oh, okay, that's interesting. But
you know, the one scene that reminded me a little bit of Tim Burton, like darkness. Remember when she goes behind the fridge and she kind of pulls the wallpaper back and all the cockroaches start coming out? I'm like, oh my, this
I know.
gives me the
I know.
EBGBs, that type of thing.
Cockroaches do, and you know what? They're not.
Well, especially like an infestation of them.
Yeah. But they're not like, as far as insects go, they're not the worst.
No, of course not.
Right? But you know what I mean? Like but yeah, they do this. Just the way I find bugs move, just especially spiders too. And I'm not even afraid of spiders, but the way they move is just, it seems so alien, right? So I guess that what creeps you out is like it doesn't even seem worldly.
And then when there's like 100 of them coming out,
they're just like, no thanks.
And then that was a good scene too, because like it really like showed Amelia losing her mind, right? 'Cause remember, I don't even know. The social services people show up, and it's like, oh, we just have a bit of a bug problem. And then they look, and there's like nothing wrong.
Well, it came out of the hole behind the fridge, and then from the peeling, like she had to change it, right? She was conscious enough to be aware that, okay, now I sound crazy.
Yeah.
And she changed her story a bit, but that was I really like this film. Like other than I think those are kind of nitpicky because it didn't stop me from enjoying this film at all.
And if it doesn't stop you from enjoying it, then who cares? But it was just something that right away I'm like, I don't see a mother doing this, because like even though she was tired and at her wit's end, she loved her son. She was a good mom. She wasn't like a loser or something like that. She wasn't a drug addict. Like I don't see her reading that book. One other thing I didn't like though, and this is my preference, I don't like watching dogs get hurt. Oh. I wasn't into her killing the dog. I wasn't into her killing the dog, right?
I noted that. I hate it when kids or dogs get hurt, or animals, right?
And I guess it was important though, right? Because remember, she destroys the book, and the book reappears, and now there's new pages filled in where she kills the dog and then kills the son,
and then cuts her own neck.
So then you see her kill the dog, and you're like, oh no, the son's next, type of thing. So I guess it had to happen, but still. Bugsy, was that the dog's name? Bugsy?
Yes.
I didn't need to see Bugsy die. I don't need to hear that dog scream, whine thing.
Yeah, I know. Like, I hate that.
It's not for me.
I know. What I did like in this film, though, was the imagery. The imagery of the Babadook, the way everything was set up. It was really, really well done. Like, it was very strong, right?
And it was well done, but then I also didn't understand it. So you got to explain the ending to me.
Okay.
So she's able to beat the Babadook by standing up to it?
I don't know. She vomited it out. Right?
Say that again, sorry?
She vomited it out.
Yeah.
Remember, it went into her mouth.
Yeah.
And this is another part I really liked. She kept, when an outburst was about to happen or something, or she would go into a fugue or whatever it was, she always, like, her jaw would click, and then she'd always touch it.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, that's so cool. It's a good little detail to add, right? So... We're talking about the worms?
No. So before the worms, I want to ask you about that too. But they're having the big battle, let's call it.
Yeah.
And then she's able to like make it go down to the basement by confronting it.
Mm-hmm.
What's that about?
I see. That's what I think I have a problem with, like, from the beginning. Since you don't know what triggered it, and you don't know how to start it, or you don't know why it's there, the Babadook, like, none of that stuff actually makes sense, right?
No, it doesn't, right?
No. So, because you don't know why. So, if you can't tie it back to a why, then you don't have. It doesn't make sense.
So it's like the fact that she stands up to it, it then goes to the basement, and then it stays in the basement and can never escape or bug them again as long as they bring it worms.
Yeah. So, but I'll tell you what really bothered me even more than that. Those knots that kid tied his mom up with were amazing.
I was thinking that too. I'm like, there's no way he could trick his mom and then knock her out and then tie up those knots. But then they ended up not being amazing because she was able to get herself out from it.
No, she twisted over because she was vomiting the Babadook out. But other than that, like they held her there for long enough.
For a while.
Yeah, for enough for.
I guess for longer than a 6-year-old should be able to hold an adult there.
And but the knots, like, they were very intricate. They were like, they weren't like just, a mess of knots in the middle of her chest, right? Like, they were actually very.
Yeah.
I was like, this is amazing. Like, I would have been happy if they showed him as a Boy Scout and then doing that.
Yeah.
But like that, there's a lot of, I guess you would call them consistency issues, or.
Well, there's tons of consistency issues, and then at the very end, when it's showing them kind of as a happy family, and he does a magic trick where a dove appears. Where does a 6-year-old get a dove from? Right? Because it was obvious Mom had never seen this before, so he just somehow gets himself a dove to do this magic trick for Mom.
You know what I kept thinking about, like, when they kept saying it was his birthday? Because you know how, like, in almost every horror movie, you always wait for that last scare when the credits don't roll up.
Yeah. So
earlier, she falls asleep and she sees a news report, right? And they're talking about
about her.
Yeah, they're talking about a woman who stabs her 9-year-old boy on her birthday.
Oh,
so then it was her birthday, then the boy's birthday. And I'm like, the Babadook.
Like the Babadook is planning this.
Yeah, right, or something. Like, it was all that stuff was just a trap laid to set this groundwork. So she's gonna kill him, and then that's gonna come true, right? That she's gonna be looking out the window, or the police are gonna be coming for her, right?
Yeah.
But that didn't happen, obviously.
No.
Instead, he made a dove appear out of thin air.
Yeah. And then it's just a happy ending where they continue living in the house with this, like, evil presence.
Yeah, I know.
That's now confined to the basement.
And she's clearly afraid of him when she went down there, right? Like,
yeah.
It's very, like, why are you still there?
Right?
Yeah,
no, exactly. Like, and I know they're poor and everything like that, but, like, you're not sticking around in this house, right?
No.
Where, like, it made you kill your dog with your bare hands, right?
It's one of those things, right? Okay, I could be poor, I could be poor and alive or dead.
Yeah.
Poor and alive always wins.
And what's to say that this Babadook isn't going to regain strength and then, like, possess you again or something like that?
Well, once again, we're kind of projecting here. Like, we don't.
But you have to, because it's not explained.
Well, we don't know if it's even tied to that house. So what if they moved?
Yeah, maybe the Babadook moves with them.
That's what I'm saying.
Wherever you guys move, make sure there's a nice basement.
Yeah, or the Red Book, because the Red Book followed her.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm just saying, like, we don't know the rules because they didn't tell us.
We need Babadook the prequel to explain everything.
I need the rules. Or I need the trigger, actually. I want the trigger because sometimes just the trigger itself will explain a lot.
Okay, well, maybe we can get, like, a prequel that's, like, just a biography, kind of, like, explaining everything, all the rules of the Babadook.
Yeah. But, hey, very well directed and very well written otherwise. Like,
and people agree with you, John. Rotten Tomatoes critic score, and this surprised me, actually, 98.
98? What the heck?
That's high. And then the audience score, 72. I'm probably more in line with the audience score.
I'd be, like, because of how scary some of the scenes were, like, they made, my arm hair stand up. And I like that. So I'd be more inclined to give it an 80.
And you know what? Different actor for the young boy. I'm probably with you, but I'm taking 10 points off
for the boy,
for having to see him throughout this film. Budget made for $2 million, ended up bringing in over 10.3.
Yeah, but that's not taking into account the Netflix licensing and all that crap.
Oh, no, I'm sure they made tons of money that way, right? Found a lot of, like, kind of, like, cool, interesting stuff about this movie too. So the director, Jennifer Kent, was actually a little bit of a failed actress.
Oh, really?
So her original ambitions weren't kind of to be a filmmaker. She started out as an actress and kind of tried it for 2 decades.
Wow,
and it just
really?
like wasn't working. So she eventually kind of gave up on being on that side of the camera and decided to try the other side.
Yeah, well, she would have had the experience, right?
Oh yeah, just to see how other people worked and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. I just thought that was really interesting to just kind of finally be able to have that like tough look in the mirror at yourself and be like, this isn't
Yeah,
happening.
and know she loves films and movies, though,
Yeah.
right? Like, that's really good.
But then to have the talent to do this, and
Yeah.
like obviously, I can't think of her being in a movie or if I've ever seen her before.
Yeah, me either.
But just the talent of this film is just like, yeah, you've made the right choice.
Oh, for sure. Like, some of those scare scenes, like, oh my God, they were so good. They're so good visually, like the imagery, like everything, man. Like the phone calls with the they give me the creeps, right?
With
like,
the Babadook, that was a
yeah.
weird voice, right?
Yeah, man, it was so good. This was very well done, I think.
And the other thing about her too is she's a go-getter. So
Mhm.
when they were making this movie, they were $30K short on the budget.
Yeah.
So she went straight to Kickstarter and raised it that way.
Oh, nice.
Doing what you have to do,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure. Good for her.
And then one really cool thing is obviously there's some like dark content in this movie, especially when you consider that like there's a little boy there, like
Yeah.
a real little boy is playing that actor, right?
Yeah.
And so she was really cognizant of the fact that like she doesn't want to ruin this little boy's life, like
Mhm.
ruin like his childhood and like have like bad memories. So like during all the like reverse shots when Amelia was kind of like verbally abusing Sam,
Yeah.
they would have an actor stand in for Sam
Oh,
and like
nice.
be there on his knees with her like screaming at him
Yeah,
and
yeah,
telling
yeah.
him he's worthless or like
Yeah.
all that sort of thing. So I just thought that was like really really smart of her to do that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So that's really smart of her and very considerate of her, and like kudos to her. Like, I'm very happy that she did that, because some of those words were pretty brutal, man.
Oh, for sure, right?
Right.
It's just like
And when you're acting, and if you're good at it, and if you're in the moment, you feel that stuff, right?
yeah.
So it's
Oh, and she Amelia again, and I said it already once, like did an amazing job of
yeah.
acting.
So
in
did
this movie.
Samuel.
Yeah, but I just like really felt like she was going crazy. Like she was
Yeah,
this
yeah.
mom who loved him and just was like
Absolutely.
at her wits' end. I just
No,
thought
she
she
did a
like
great job.
nailed it perfectly.
You're absolutely right. She did.
Yeah, but as for the movie itself, good movie, would recommend it. When you said you wanted to do this one for the podcast, I wasn't like overjoyed to watch it again
Yeah, yeah,
because I'd already seen it.
yeah.
It's done it for me, and there was nothing like pulling me back to watch it again. Now that I've seen it twice, I probably wouldn't see it again, which is kind of strange for a movie that I would say that's in the 70s, right?
That is strange, because I'm opposite. So I watched it the first time, and I liked it, and then Ethan suggested that we watch this one again for the podcast, and I was like, I didn't really want to watch it again, but
that was my feeling too. Just kind
Yeah.
of like a meh.
But I was just like, it is a good film. A lot of people do like it, so let's watch it again with clearer eyes and see what we think.
Yeah.
And then I watched it again, and I think I liked it more than the first time.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
eh?
just only because I really appreciate the scares. I really appreciate, like, it's really hard to do that, obviously, right? A guy like me who's been watching horror movies since he was 6 years old, I don't scare very easily, right? And it's not because I'm like, tough or anything like that. It's like I said, I would say I've been overexposed to horror films, right? So for me, it's just like, it's when I get scared in a film nowadays, it's like, wow, it's a shocking thing, right? So,
And especially when you're telling me that this is making like the hairs on your arm stand up.
yeah,
The second time through.
yeah. So like, and that's what I mean. So I thought it was very powerful that way. The imagery was very well done. I really enjoyed this. So I think this director did a great job of showing and not telling. Right? There wasn't any expositions. It was all. I think from.
Well, we needed some expeditions though.
So we did to a certain degree, right? Maybe that's why she didn't include it, because she hates expositions as much as I do. But we did need to know what the trigger was. I would agree with that. I just mean, like, for me, I can learn from this because that's good writing, right? So good writing is always showing and not telling. So I think this director, she did an exceptional job with that, and that's why I would watch it again.
No, and I guess I can't disagree with you too much. And folks, we'd love to hear what you think too. Like, are you guys with John, where you think that this child actor did a phenomenal job, or are you with me, where you just couldn't stand the whiny little brat the entire time? I think one of my big comments that I wrote down, I'm like, what a drama queen! Like, oh my gosh! Like, obviously, if when you have a kid, you love them no matter what, but like, he would make, like, if that was my kid, it would be trying times for my love. I'll tell you that.
I don't even know, but I think you're taking it out of context. Like, you got to think about it. Like, his dad died.
Oh yeah,
right. His dad died, and
he loved to tell people that too.
yes,
It's like, my dad died when he was driving my mommy to the hospital to have me.
Yes.
It's like, I think he said that at least twice in the movie.
yeah, and you know why? They did it for two reasons.
Looking for attention.
Attention, and he also feels a little responsible for it. Right? So like I think it was like that also was very well written into it.
Well, of course
Right?
he's responsible, right? Because, like, you're not
Well,
even
he's
good enough
not.
to have a dad, and your dad died, so he didn't have to be with you.
No, but you know what I mean though, right? Because like the reason why your dad's dead is because you were born. Right? So that, and he was told that. Right? So, you know, like I think
And that was the opening scene, right? The car
Yeah.
accident.
yeah.
And that kind of caught me off guard too. I'm like, kind of like, what's happening here?
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
this? Because when I watched it back the second time, I don't remember this scene. What's going on, right?
Yeah.
And then it kind of clicked back.
Yeah. But so like, a lot of times when I watch a film and I'm not really unsure, but just more of like, okay, well, what did this person think of it? Or, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of want to know if I'm being objective about it, or if maybe I saw something wrong that other people saw right. Like, I just want to make sure I'm being fair, right? So I usually go to Roger Ebert's reviews,
okay.
right? And they reviewed this, like, because Roger Ebert's dead, so just staff.
Yeah, but
that
he
doesn't
still
know.
runs a site with critics, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they give us like a 3.5 out of 4 stars.
Oh, they loved it, eh?
Yeah, and the reasons why they gave it such a high score, I agree with, but they seem to forget the stuff that we talked about.
Okay.
Right? Like, there was no trigger and there was no reason why this happened. That's kind of a huge plot hole, in my opinion. But all the stuff that we talked about, like, you know, it was it felt like a genuinely new horror film, like not you know, not a cookie cutter.
Yeah, it's not derivative, that's for sure.
Right. So like, so a lot of the reasons that it was genuinely scary. There's a lot of really good scenes that kind of freaked you out. So that the same reasons why I liked it, they liked it. But I you know, like, once again, I'm giving it an 80 for that reason. But that's more, in my opinion, like a 3 out of 4. Or, you know.
Yeah, so they probably liked it a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Well, buddy, anything else to add on this one?
Other than that, they probably know more about films than I do. So, but
Well, they
whatever.
do it professionally, and
Yeah.
we do this for fun.
Yeah. So that, you know. Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, folks, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, check out our Facebook page, and follow us on both Twitter and Instagram @DamnMovies. We want to hear what you thought of today's podcast and any suggestions you have, especially in terms of what movies you'd like us to discuss next. Send us an email to moviesthedamned@gmail.com. Please also check out John's full-length novels. His first 2 novels, Dollhouse and The Tracker, are Amazon bestsellers. You can also order his novella Balance, his book of short stories, 4 Shots of Horror, and his newest novel, Off the Grid, on Amazon right now. For further details on John's other published works, please visit his blog, johnhuntfiction.wordpress.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, everyone, thanks for listening. Have a great week. Be kind to everyone. And if you get a chance, please rate and subscribe to our channel. It really, really helps out. Thank you.